as a politician, you would do a lot of political campaigning and a lot of speaking in front of large groups of people. So it's important to keep in mind, how credible you can be in things you can say and things you can do that would get votes and get people to agree with you and to like you more. Some good reasons and things that would help convince the audience when you're campaigning for office would be textual evidence. It's important that when you're talking about something as a politician, it can be backed by evidence with books or official research. If you're just talking like out of your head or, just on opinions and biases, then it's not credible. It seems unprofessional, which is really an important thing if you want to be the leader of the country. Also, appealing to your audience logically. If the topic, if they're talking about something that's irrational, illogical, cannot be backed up, it's not credible. If they're talking about things that are important like health care and they're being opinionated, like some people don't deserve certain health care, it's not credible. They can't, it's not professional either. Controversial topics. Now, this is a difficult situation for any politician because there's things like gay marriage and abortion. Politicians, they struggle to talk around it, and the only way they can get through that is to not be biased. So you can't be super opinionated when talking about that. So backing it up logically and statistically could also help. Because if you were to say, gay's not wrong because, they're paying their taxes, they're citizens, they're not breaking the law, then that's fine. If you were to be biased about it because, if you were to say anything from a religious standpoint, then you can get a lot of people to dislike you. Now, you also want to when you're a politician, say for instance, I was speaking, I would try and appeal to the audience and also in an emotional way and more of a personal level through personal testimony. Say, for example, in my discussion board, I talked about healthcare. If a politician were to grow up with poor healthcare and issues regarding healthcare, then they could talk about things they wanted to change while they were in office as the president, and they could give personal testimony on how in their life the struggles, it would have been better, like integrating their plan when they were a kid or growing up, like that plan would have been able to help them in their situation. So you could give a personal testimony like what happened to you and what could have been done to prevent that through the government's job, and what the government could have done to prevent certain issues with your health care, for instance. Then you can integrate that and see people relate to you on a better personal and emotional level. Also, you want most of everything you say as a politician, or I would if I were a politician campaigning to become the next president, to be able to be backed with textual evidence and logical evidence. Emotional appeal is important because you want to be a likable guy when you're campaigning to become the next leader of the United States, but you also don't want to be just emotional, like, oh, I care for you, or this and that. You want to seem powerful and smart, and that's how you would get votes. That's who I would vote for, at least. Another thing when you're becoming a politician that would be really important is the things you've done prior to campaigning to become the president. Say you're the governor of a state for 5 years or 4 years or however long it is. You want to see what they have done in their term as a governor or as a senator, and how important or how credible they are. Like if they were known for lying or drugs or just ridiculous things that a politician shouldn't be involved in, then they don't really seem credible. You don't want to have someone like that in office. You also want to know their plans and the steps they can take to execute those plans in office. A lot of this just comes back to credibility. Like Obama wanted to do a lot of things with healthcare, and he backed all of his speeches with credibility, things that could be proved, and then steps he would also take to accomplish those plans. And the main reason I'm doing this speech is because I'm eligible to vote now, and the election's next year, so I want the politician I vote for, or the person campaigning, to be credible. And I think that's important to me, and it should be important to most of you if you vote.